Okay, so welcome to the ZMY Begin class. We have all kinds of people in our studio today. We have Kate, Melina, Susan, and Amber, and then Courtney and Robin online. So they can see you guys even though you can't see them. And they can hear you too. So I don't know if you can hear them, probably not with my mic, but let me turn this fan on. Are you guys all doing good? Yes. And I have it tucked in just like a grandma. And these are high-waisted pants. I love tucking my shirts in, and I've always been made fun of it for it, and I don't care. I don't care. Yeah. I love tucking my shirts in. Kate is saying she's an anti-tucker, so I also love high-waisted pants. I'm like so thrilled that they came back in style. It's so funny. Well, I will say this, that, okay, so I'll give you that, but any other pair of jeans are usually high waters on me. So there you go. High waters or my butt is hanging out. So, all right. I want to do a new breathing exercise with you guys, so pranayama, breath control. It's still, something that you guys have all been on the mat a couple of times. You're not brand new. So this typically wouldn't be a class we bring to a breath we bring to a complete beginner. But I do want to just kind of give you a heads up, even though it's super beneficial for stress and anxiety, tapping into the parasympathetic nervous system. If you feel anxiety at any time while doing this, I want you to stop, okay? Because there is these breathing exercises don't seem like a big deal, but they're very powerful. Okay, that's why it's important to always do them with somebody. I've strained my diaphragm doing breathing exercises before, yes, and it feels very strange because it's a muscle. It feels like fluttering. You're like, I can't breathe, and I feel like I have bubbles in my gut, or it can cause anxiety. So just listen to your body, but also use this tool because we're going to do, it's called the Viloma Pranayama. So what it is interrupting the flow of the breath. So when we're inhaling, we would inhale, 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 inhale. And then for exhale, we'd go exhale, 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 exhale. So when we're doing the inhales, it kind of is giving us energy. When we're doing the exhales, kind of calming us down. So we're going to do the exhale part at the end of the class and the inhale part to begin. So go ahead and lie down on your back. And just like always, we're going to start by just seeing how you're breathing today. And how do you guys feel comfortable in here with this, like the space, the air moving? Do you feel comfortable? Okay. I just want to make sure with our regulations that we have that you all feel comfortable coming in here. So just begin to breathe. We're not attaching judgment. We're not attaching expectations. Number one, you made it to the mat this morning. So honestly, whatever happens from here on out, who really cares? You made it. That's 90% of a yoga practice, is just showing up. And it's not easy to do, especially right now. So get that good quality, belly, chest, exhale. You inhale, the belly rises, the lungs fill. You exhale, everything kind of just collapses or contracts towards each other. even as I count this breath that we're going to do, if your inhale comes after I cue it, just continue doing the breath. Don't force the new inhale to come. We'll do a couple rounds together, and then I'm going to leave you guys on your own to kind of play with it. So VI in Sanskrit means against, and Loma means hair. So we're going against the hair, or in other words, against the grain, what we're doing with this breath. And like I kind of showed you, you're going to inhale, pause, inhale, pause, inhale, pause, inhale, pause. Now, some of you might do that for a four count. Some of you might do it up to 8. It depends on your breath. We're going to take one more regular deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. And then inhale, 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 exhale. Keep going like that. Let there be at least 1 or 2 seconds in between each pause, and then exhale completely. Notice the extra release when you exhale after doing that pause, pause, pause. The interruption. And be sure you're filling your lungs completely and emptying completely. I'm going to let you go and do this for 3 more rounds. And then afterwards, return to a normal breathing pattern and just feel the effects of the practice. Notice the sensations in the body right now. Notice the mind. And then go ahead and bring your arms overhead. We're going to take a long stretch. Straighten the legs, point the toes. And then bring the arms back down when you're ready. And bring the knees up to the chest, one at a time until you're hugging both knees. Be sure the lower back is flat on the mat and rock back and forth. And then go ahead and bring the feet back down to the mat. We're going to do a twist. So hips to the left, let the knees fall to the right, and then bring your arms straight out, extend them straight out, or bend at the elbows. And I'm just going to kind of encourage you to, like I said, don't worry about anything today. You're on your mat. You're going to be getting some sort of benefit, a lot of benefits actually. Don't attach any expectations to your practice today. If there's any time throughout the practice where you feel like you can close your eyes, 80% of our input comes from our eyes. So if you can shut your eyes through some of the practice today, that will help you focus inward, just to kind of investigate what's going on with the body. We are going to move nice and slow. So just breathe here, regular breathing. And now if you like to extend the top leg straight, kind of like you're kicking through the heel, and see if if your body's ready to go a little bit deeper into the twist, great. If this doesn't feel good, just keep your knees stacked and your ankles stacked. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. And you can use your right hand to help that top leg down if you'd like. And if your leg was straight, go ahead and bend it back, stack the ankles, engage the abdominals, bring the knees back up towards the ceiling, and then straighten out the pelvis. So come back to neutral. Hips go to the right, knees go to the left. Keep the legs bent first, extend the arms. You can change it up, you can keep it the same. If you're running out of stretch with the arms extended, go ahead and bend the elbows at a 90-degree angle. We're trying to keep the right shoulder as heavy as possible. The shoulders are soft. The tongue and the throat are soft. Just follow the breath. Go ahead and extend that top leg, maybe, if it feels right. If it doesn't, then stay where you are. And then go ahead and engage the abdominals. You got a cramp? Bring the knees back up towards the ceiling and bring the hips back to center. Yes, we don't want that to happen. Straighten the legs. Just kind of bounce the knees out a little bit. Good. One more thing on our backs, and then we'll move on to our side. Bend the knees. Right ankle to left thigh. Interlace behind the left leg. Keep both feet flexed here. Just draw that left knee towards the body. Keep the shoulders soft and breathe. We want to protect the right knee, so feet flex. If you are flexible enough to where you don't feel so much here, grab the outside of the left knee. Three more breaths here. And I guess it doesn't really, it's not always flexibility. Sometimes you could be super flexible in the muscles, but the mobility in the joints might be limited, which is an unusual. Go ahead, exhale, bring both feet down to the mat, switch thighs, left ankle, right leg, interlace behind the right thigh. Both feet stay flexed here. Grab the outside of the right knee if necessary. Shoulders are soft. This is definitely a pose where you could keep the eyes closed. There's sounds happening around you already. There's things happening in the body. There's so much input through the eyes. Let's just close them. Three more breaths. And then go ahead and release. All right, roll on to your right side. Slowly push yourself up and come to a seated position. Right hand to the floor, inhale the left arm up. Exhale, lean to the right. Left hand down, inhale the right arm up. Exhale, lean to the left. And then we're going to go back a couple of times here, just back and forth. Lean to the right, to the left, one more time on each side. Good. Left hand to right knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, revolve. Your right hand is going to support you. Keep the chest lifted, shoulders away from the ears. Good. Exhale, come back to center. Switch where your legs are. So your whatever leg was on top or was on the bottom is now going to be on top. Take your right hand to your left knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, revolve. So Kate is using a block for her left hand, which is helping her keep the chest lifted. So if you have a block you want to put under your left hand, you can. Or you can have fingertips like you're holding a cupcake. Just don't bend the fingers in half, because over time that will cause problems. Find your breath here. You're revolving from the middle of the back, the thoracic spine. One more. And then exhale, come back to center. How is your back doing, Robin? So far, so good. Okay. All right. Extend the legs out in front of you. We're just going to sit in our Dandasana pose, which is our staff, 4-limb staff pose. So hands are going to go on either side. You can also use blocks for this too, or fingertips. It depends on how long your arms are really. Try to keep the legs as close together as you can. You're going to look at your feet. We're going to take a few breaths here. Get as tall as you can. Use the abdominals to help you. Keep the legs like you're ripping the mat apart. And now release. We're going to exhale and fold forward. So walk the fingertips forward. If you have a strap, you can put it around your feet. The chin is always going to aim in the direction of the shins, just to keep the neck neutral. It's so weird having all of these people in here and we're like not talking. So used to having conversations with people. I'm trying to be good and not sick. I know, I say, especially when Kate's here. Take another breath. Yeah. Inhale, come up, and exhale, release. All right, so we're going to separate the feet, our seated wide angle pose. Now, keep your hands behind your back if you have, compression in the lower spine. You can use your blocks behind your back if your fingers are bending like mine are. You're either at fingertips using the muscles to hold you, or you're using a block to help you. This is not easy. We're activating through the ball mounds of the big toes, and we're pressing. You'll feel your outer hip activate, right? Yeah? You guys feel that? No, they can be backward. That's fine. To help you lift for this, that's fine. You're using your hands to support you, which is a good question because normally you want that internal rotation, but this is not where the pose, this is not the end of the pose. If you feel like you can stay nice and tall, you can bring your fingers forward. If you feel like you can go further, start to fold forward. Eventually, and if you have 2 straps, you can use 2 straps for this pose. Eventually, you're just reaching for the outsides of your feet, chin towards the floor. We're going to take 3 breaths here. Lift the pelvic floor, lift the abdominals. This is not a comfortable pose, but it's going to do a lot for your back. Shoulders away from the ears. You guys look great. Good alignment. Go ahead and release. Come all the way up. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. We're keeping the back straight again. This is why I don't like seated stuff. I just don't like keeping my back straight. I feel like walking around is enough work to do that, or sitting. So like doing poses where we have to really watch that alignment, because it does really, for the little bit you put in, you get back tenfold as far as strength and healing. But man, this is no fun. So I'm sorry to put you guys through this, unless there's someone here that really likes it. Do you guys like seated stuff? You do? Amber's like, actually, I do. Okay, so we're going down 2 times. Inhale, lengthen. Hands on the ankles for support. And as you exhale, bring the heart forward and the chin towards the floor. I don't care if you go an inch, it's fine. You should feel the abdominals engage. Yes. Were you going to say something? Yeah. She's trying so hard not to talk, but it's okay. And he talked about how we don't have to sit up, like most cultures don't sit up if they're like hunter-gatherers. Like, yeah. Like around with that. But there's so many other things that yes. Inhale, come up. Right, like they're squatting. Right? Yeah. Yes, because your back is going to go into flexion. Like the problem with us is we spend our whole life sitting in a chair like this, you know? Okay, we're going to go down one more time, but this time we are going to round the back. So inhale, lengthen, and exhale, push the belly towards the back of the body. Let the top of the head drop towards the feet, and really use your elbows to the inner thighs to press the knees towards the floor a little bit more. It also will help keep your shoulders away from your ears. So shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, come all the way up. And bring the knees back together. Left leg out, then the right. Okay, just making sure you can see me. All right, so you can use your strap here if you want. Don't have to, but one of the tips for doing any forward fold, which I didn't tell you with the, with the seated angle, but get the flesh away from the sitting bones, get grounded. You can also tuck your thigh so that your knee is pointing straight up. And then here, however you walk in normal life is really how your foot's probably going to rest. So for me, I walk on the outer edge of my foot a lot, so my foot is angled. This is an opportunity for me to practice that balance. So I press through the ball mount of the big toe. I activate this leg, and then I'm going to inhale and lengthen, kind of rotate towards that left leg, and then move with the breath. Engage the belly. Fold forward, shoulders back, chin towards the shin. Good. And if you can grab the foot, grab the foot. You're going to have your thumbs on top of the foot and kind of cup the foot. But your abdominals are your armor and is going to protect your lower back from this stretch. We're taking one more breath here. Inhale, look up, and exhale, release. Other side. Close the knee joint first. Drop it out to the side. All of these little things will become second nature if they're not already, like untucking, engaging, pressing, and now inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Even if you're grabbing the foot, your shoulders are going to come forward, but we're still acting like we're bringing the shoulder blades towards each other. Because that's a part of the body for most of us that's very weak. The pectoral muscles get tight because of the sitting, and then the middle of our back is overstretched. Take 3 more breaths here. Engage the entire time. Don't let anything go. And eyes are closed or you're staring at your toe. Inhale, look up, and exhale, release. Good. It's hard to focus on one point, right? I mean, we have like a million things to focus on in a pose, like breathing, alignment, blah. So having that focus point is good, but it's like, it's like one more thing to remember, but you're growing your brains. You get nice big brains from yoga. You're going to get more wrinkles on your brain, which is a good thing. All right, palms to hands and knees. Yes. All right, knees apart, toes together. We're sitting back in child's pose. If this is not good for your knees, remember, shift forward. Still find rest. And if you are sitting on the heels, you're walking the hands forward. Your forehead is going to touch the mat. And if it's not touching the mat, you're going to rest it on a block or your fist. We want the neck to release here. We don't want any tension in the neck. So even though the middle of the shoulder blades are working, the trapezius on top of the shoulders, they are not. Feel your sitting bones, kind of feel gravity, letting them be heavy towards the heels. If you want to find a little bit of movement here, you can roll the forehead a little bit or even just rock the body a little bit left to right. Sometimes feels good for stuck energy, just that movement. And sometimes stillness just feels good. We're taking 3 more breaths here. And then being sure that your hands are on the mat, you're going to inhale and lift the head. And then you're going to start to exhale and walk your hands as far to the right as you can. So walk the hands to the right, soften towards the floor. And then inhale, lift, walk your hands to the left and soften. You're definitely, I mean, your eyes might be open here, but they're a little bit more blocked. So what's going on in the body right now? Inhale, lift, come back to center, and bring yourself up to hands and knees. Okay, I want to take the top of the right hand and press it into the mat. Stretch the wrist. And even for like these things that are not really like, I mean, this is a stretch. This is not a yoga pose, right? But paying attention to specific parts of the body, that's yoga. Still figure out what's going on with the rest of the body. You know, are you letting your lower back dip? Are your shoulders crunched up by your ears? Pay attention to all of it. Go ahead and release. Shake that hand out and do the other side. Go ahead and release, shake it out. You're gonna walk your hands forward. The sitting bones are gonna stay lifted, but you're gonna come down to your forearms and just walk the hands forward. And maybe your forehead goes to the mat, maybe it goes to a block. But what we're doing here is really getting a long stretch in the spine. Like really reach your arms forward and stretch the upper half of the body. And then go ahead and lift the head, walk the hands back. We're gonna take the right foot forward. So we're gonna come into some lunges here. If you have blocks, keep them nearby. You might wanna use them for this. So right foot forward. Man, I get so much dust up. All I like to wear is black, but it's like, it's the worst. Yeah, and this, oh, my microphone. Things are just falling out of my shirt, but it was actually my microphone from the last mic I had on. Okay, so you're gonna either use, you know, if you have 2 blocks, you can always use 2 blocks in this lunge, right? If you don't have 2 blocks, that's fine. Use your fingertips. You'll notice that your back comes into more flexion. That just means you have to pay closer attention. We're gonna walk the fingertips forward or the blocks forward, and we're just gonna soften the left hip forward for a few breaths. The back foot is uncurled, toes are uncurled if possible. Shoulders are back. So I definitely muscularly have to do more work here without blocks. Lift the pelvic floor, you're squeezing the thighs towards each other, and the shoulders are back. Take one more breath here. All right, take your blocks with you. Start to walk the fingers back. And we're actually gonna sit on the heel and take one of those blocks and stick it underneath the right sitting bone. And Courtney, if you don't have a block yet, don't worry. You can do this without one. You can even stick a blanket under there, something like that. Okay, so we're gonna walk our fingertips forward. Keep the right toes pointing up towards the ceiling and the shoulders back. Yes, you can use a strap here if you want. So this is getting into more, like there's modifications for every pose, right? This is a pose that, you know, eventually you bring your both butts to the ground, both butts, and you come into it like this. And then eventually from there, you come into it like this. So this is like the mortified look on your face. This is the beginning of that. And this is good enough, right? I mean, keeping a beginner's mind is important. All right. Okay. You're gonna have to use your strength to lift you for this, okay? Try not to make it be all in your hands. Like engage the bandhas, the pelvic floor, the transverse abdominals, and lift yourself. The hamstrings in the left leg have to do the work too. Bring the right foot back. We're doing all of that on the other side. Now you know what you're doing. We can move through it a little bit quicker, but also notice any differences on this side as opposed to the other. For instance, I can bring my hands all the way to the floor for this side. The other side, I could not. So use your blocks or fingertips. And we want to keep the neck neutral, collarbone spread. Squeeze the thighs towards each other. One more breath here. Okay, push that front foot and start to shift back. Bring your blocks with you. So some people ask me questions about the heel, like when you're sitting on the heel, what is that supposed to look like? So, and sorry for my feet, but I have a job where I'm barefoot all the time. So some people sit on their heel like this. I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen. Ow, automatic cramp. Let me do it with this foot. So, you know, like naturally I want to sit on my foot like that, which is bad for my ankle. So you want to try to keep it even. That's why the block is there, to help you do that. Does that make sense? You should have some, always try to keep that ankle as aligned as possible. Otherwise we're just bending the, you know, it's like doing down dog with our wrists like this. We wouldn't do that. All right, inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, fold forward. You can grab the foot or your strap, or just keep your fingertips on the floor. I did say to put something under the left cheek though, right? I mean, we did it on the other side, so, okay. Tucked in shirt hater. Take a couple more breaths. I'm definitely wearing tucked in shirts every time I see you now. Yeah. I don't tuck in my sweatshirts. No. Yeah. It feels good. It's comfortable. Inhale, come all the way up. All right. And now you're going to have to throw your blocks and straps off to the side. Lift yourself. Use the strength of your legs to lift yourself back, and then bring that left foot back. All right, let's stand up, shall we? Curl the toes under, hips up and back to downward facing dog. Pedal your feet. Remember, your heels do not need to touch the floor. Your legs do not need to be straight. You're working on lengthening your spine. You know, in the beginning, you can pedal your feet to lengthen the hamstrings and things like that. But if you want stillness here, which sometimes that just feels good, maybe you don't want to move. You're going to curl the buttocks up towards the ceiling and just lengthen through the tailbone. Now, once you feel that all set up, you can let your heels get heavy towards the mat, and you might surprise yourself. Maybe they're closer than what you think they would be. But just remember, that's not the goal. We're going to inhale and look up and begin to step forward. So go ahead and start to walk forward. We're not coming up yet. So exhale, fold. Just let your hands stay towards the mat. Let your head dangle here, okay? Now bring your hands up to your shins and lengthen through the crown of your head. So we're lifting the head. Shoulders are back. And now in order to go any higher, like you could get away with just kind of using your tendons or ligaments here, but you're gonna have to muscularly engage to go any higher. So press the feet into the mat and start to engage the glutes. Lift yourself higher to your thighs. Now your legs are really having to work, right? Your lower back is having to work. Don't let the belly be soft here, engage. And see what your toes are doing. Are they gripping onto the mat for dear life? Can you let them be soft? Slightly bend the knees. We're gonna inhale and bring the arms all the way up. Palms together, you're gonna exhale, hands in front of the heart. And then release the arms. What did you notice? Did you notice gripping of the toes? Your legs get tired from having to, yeah, it's a lot of muscular work. Well, and that's how, like if you're doing yoga the right way, you're gonna get muscular, you know, like the ones who look like they are rock climbers, but they're just doing yoga. Who cares about like stretchy? I mean, yes, mobility is important and you need to, you know, stay flexible so your joints don't get tight, but yeah, let's get strong. I wanna get strong. Come to the front of your mat. We're gonna do one round of Sun Salutation A. So begin in Tadasana, let your arms hang, even through the fingertips. Let the hands just relax. Let the shoulder girdle do the work. Spread the collarbones. Good. All four corners of the feet are pressing. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, come into that halfway lift again. If you can have a flat back with the fingertips, do that. Otherwise, hands are on the shins. And now exhale, we're gonna step back and lower our bodies evenly to the ground. Elbows are gonna touch the sides of the body. Yes, it's difficult, but you can do it. Uncurl the toes, inhale, lift to a cobra. Glutes are engaged. We're on fire here. You're going into down dog or child's pose. You choose. Curl the toes under and take your hips back somewhere for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're all gonna meet in a forward fold at the front of our mat, so get there. Inhale, bring your arms all the way up. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. Okay, so I want you to take a block, or if you have if you're at home and you don't have a block, use a chair or a couch, or even the wall will be fine. So your block is either gonna be here, or you're gonna just have your hands on the wall as I walk you through this, okay? So we're gonna do Uttanasana, which is intense forward fold stretch. We do it all the time, but it's actually a separate pose. It's a completely separate pose than how we typically use it. You're gonna begin in mountain pose, so your feet are hip width apart. Now there's a trick to this, okay? So just bear with me. You might need more than one block. If you're anything like my hamstrings, I used like 6 blocks the first time I did this. We don't have that kind of access to props, so we're just going to do the best we can. If we have to separate our feet more, we will. So what you want to always do for a forward fold, of course, is engage the bandhas first. Pelvic floor, abdominals, they're engaged. Now, you internally rotate the thighs, the femur bones, not the thighs, the femur bones. If you act like you're ripping the mat apart with your feet, do you notice how your leg bones turn inward towards each other? Okay, that is key because your sacrum needs room to move when you're forward folding. The other thing you're going to do is really make those legs strong. You're internally rotating the bones, but your muscles are super engaged. Now, keep your legs and everything that you have there and just start to tip forward. Don't lose the legs. Your sitting bones are going to lift up towards the ceiling. You're going to notice your hamstrings stop you maybe sooner. See if you can get to the block. Okay. Now, wherever you are, inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Re-engage all the things we just did. So you're going to rip the mat apart again. You're going to feel your sitting bones separate, but they're really engaging towards each other. And then it's going to feel like you can hinge forward, maybe. Like the top of your body is separate from the bottom of your body. And if your hips are not letting you do it, then you're where you're supposed to be. We're going to take a few breaths here and lower that block as far as you think you can go. Robin, you can go lower. Let your heads go. So basically we're doing, it's always an option to bend your knees in a forward fold, but this is a forward fold without bending your knees and actually just using the prop instead to train your body to get longer in the back of the legs. And your back is doing a lot of work here too. Your feet, yes, stand up then. Okay, inhale, lift your head. Bring your hands to your waist as you exhale, and then press your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Okay, it's not the first time we've done that, but did it feel a little bit different? Like, did you learn something about yourself? Yeah, besides your feet will get tingly when you're doing that. That's not normal, by the way. Don't let your feet get tingly, but we know what's going on. So, okay, separate the feet. Take your block with you. And if you don't have a block, again, no big deal. We're just experimenting. Toes forward. So you probably want to turn sideways on your mat so we don't get, I have a first aid kit, but that's not going to help someone who goes into the splits on accident. Maybe it could, but all right. So the block is going to be like where your face would be because we're going to fold forward. Okay. Yeah. So it'll probably be on your mat, most likely. Yeah. We're going to do the same thing. This is a standing forward fold, but we're just giving our hamstrings a break. So lengthen, internally rotate the femurs, engage the pelvic floor, all of that stuff. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your hands to your block. You should feel your butt lift here. Yes, good. So the spine, it's like it's sinking into the body. Stay on the block for now, because I want you to get a super long spine here. Lengthen through the crown of the head, re-engage your legs, lift the sitting bones. Now fold forward a little bit more. Flatten the block, or go to the next setting. Melina, you can go further. Yeah, Kate, you're good right there too. You can drop your head. Melina, you can go further. Yeah. Good. Yep. And so you guys all look good here because there's going to be, you want your lower back to be flat, and then the upper back will get a little bit of flexion. Now, Robin, walk your hands towards the inner edges of your feet. And Melina, walk your hands towards the inner edges of your feet. The rest of you can just stay and breathe. Yep, just straight back and drop your head. Do this until you feel like you can't do it anymore. All right, keep the legs strong. Inhale, lift your head. We're gonna bring the heels in. So you're pivoting on the balls of your feet, heels are in. Bring your hands up to your thighs. Knees are bent. Coming into goddess pose here. Now, I don't want my knees to be beyond my ankles here. You guys are gonna remember me tomorrow. You're gonna feel this. All right. So scoot your toes if you need to. But we're actively pressing the knees open. Inhale, bring the arms up. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. Inhale up. Exhale. Going one more time. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, see how low you can go. Press the heels, lift yourself, bring the toes in, and then feet together. Good. Yowza, we need a first aid kit for that. Come to the front of your mat. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, fold. Do you feel extra bendy now when you do your regular forward fold? You're all stretched out. Inhale, lift your head. Exhale, step back. Come to your knees. Cross at the ankles, have a seat. We're gonna lie down. Bring your block. If you don't have a block, that's okay. If you do have a block, put it between the upper thighs, between the legs. Get your heels as close to the body as you can. We are going to do a bridge pose here, and you're gonna squeeze the block as we lift, just to practice keeping the legs parallel. Shoulder blades are flat on the mat to begin. We get nice and adjusted. And when we lift our pelvis up towards the ceiling, we're using the heels and the inner edges of the feet to do it, okay? And then we're using the leg muscles. And surprisingly, the front of the body is doing a lot of work too. The butt should not be doing all of the work here. So remember, you have more muscles than the glutes. The glutes think that they're a big deal just because they're the biggest muscle in the body, but they're not. I mean, they are a big deal, but we don't have to just rely on them. Inhale, lift the pelvis. You can stay here, or you can interlace the fingers under your back and start to walk the shoulders closer together. Good. We're going to take a few breaths here. Press the back body towards the front body. So your spine, press it. Heels, inner edges of the feet. We're taking 3 more breaths. Keep breathing through this. And if you kind of push your heels towards your tailbone and push your pelvis, tilt it more towards the ceiling, forward, you probably go a little bit higher. Go ahead, release the fingers and lower. Pelvis first, and then let the spine go. Remove the block. Bring your knees up to the chest. You're gonna hug the knees. And if you wanna go into happy baby from here, you can, grabbing the insides of the legs or the bottoms insides of the feet, and press the knees down towards the floor. So just one more hip opener here. And then bring the knees together, drop the feet, straighten the legs, bring the arms overhead, stretch. Bring your arms down. We are gonna go into Shavasana from here, but we're gonna do that breath control before we go completely out. So if you have sweatshirts, socks, something like that you would like to put on, or any support under the knees, get all of that set now. Okay, so once you're all set up, find your breath. you want me to cover your feet, Kate? And so remember in the beginning with the Viloma Pranayama, we interrupted the inhale, which is more energetic. And now we're going to interrupt the exhale. So just breathe a few more breaths. And on the exhale, 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 exhale. Until you are completely done with the exhale, then inhale normally, as deep as you can, and then again. Trying to slow down. Noticing the body take that natural pause before the new breath. Do this for a few more rounds and then go back to your normal breathing and notice the effects on the body. Shavasana is our time to observe and let the body rest.